In the world of Jeeps, commercial trucking, classic cars, and motorcycles, the LED headlight has become a hot topic. My name is Chris with Headlight Revolution, and in this video, we are talking about 7-inch round LED headlights. We're going to compare the options for you through objective comparison with measurements and manufacturer's public specifications. We will also do our own testing by setting the lights up in our stand at 25 feet from the wall to keep them all at the same distance and height. And while indoors, we can show you the beam pattern against the wall, and while we're doing that, we'll measure lux using this digital light meter. This headlight is most commonly known by its branding called Nolden. This headlight has been a really interesting product because for a long time in the German truck aftermarket, this was really highly sought after, but until very recently you couldn't even get this headlight in the States. Once it was discovered that the company out of Taiwan called Giant Light was actually the one manufacturing it for the German company, it all of a sudden became super available. Now you can get it in a chrome version or a black version. You can get it from Nolden, you can get it directly from Giant Light, or you can get it from Recon or United Pacific. The way this headlight operates is kind of cool, and it obviously has a really nice look to it. On low beam, you have the center projector and the top projector turned on. That's what creates your cutoff line and the left to right spread with the little hot spot in the middle. And then when you change it to high beam, you can see here that you lose the center projector, and now we have the lower reflector bowl and the upper projector is still on. Some interesting things about the details on this headlight is it does say DOT and SAE, so it is legal to use on American streets. So if you want to use it in America, don't buy it from Germany, find an American supplier, and vice versa. If you're in Europe, find a European supplier. It has the GL logo on the front, and that's Giant Light. But if you go and look at the back, it has an embossing on the aluminum heatsink that says NCCE GL-180. This is the Nolden brand. They still keep the GL180, Giant Light 180 part number, but they've got it branded as the Nolden product. No matter if you get it from Giant Light, Nolden, United Pacific, or anybody, it's going to have all that same information on it. It's also going to be built the exact same way. Down here, it actually says Made in Taiwan. And something really interesting about this headlight that we don't see in many of the modern headlights is two great big moisture vents. Most of the 7-inch round LED headlights don't have that, and they're also a lot smaller than this. This is not going to fit in a Jeep Wrangler. It's simply too tall. You have the mounting depth of like over 4 inches, but this is actually kind of an old headlight. So let's test it for lux and beam pattern and see how it stacks up against some of the newer headlights. The United Pacific Nolden Recon, part number 31300, uses 5 OSRAM LED chips, has an input of 9 to 32 volts DC, has a huge mounting depth of 4.45 inches. It is DOT approved and draws 1.4 amps of power on low beam and 1.4 amps of power on high beam. On low beam, this headlight creates a lux of 429 at 25 feet, and on high beam, this headlight creates a lux of 981 at 25 feet. The raw lumen low beam rating is 1,880. The raw lumen high beam rating is 2,400. The effective lumen low beam rating is 1,550. The effective lumen high beam rating is 1,700. This headlight is made in Taiwan and available in black or chrome. Here is the Nolden GL180, also known as the United Pacific 31300. As you can see, at 25 feet, the max lux on low beam is 429 lux. And the beam pattern is really, really nice. It kind of has a bluish white hue to it. The spread is huge. We can't even see the whole thing at 25 feet. It goes off the edges of our wall, but it has a nice cutoff line. It has that up and to the right kind of a dip. It doesn't quite go as far as a true projector headlight would, but keep in mind this is a little bit of an older model headlight. It still looks cool. The beam pattern is awesome. But it does leave a little bit to be desired. I think on the edges you can see the light really dissipates pretty sharp. It's not nearly as bright as it is in the center. When we go to high beam, a lot changes in this headlight. You can see it's like a 5 round circle configuration that creates the majority of the high beam hotspot in the center. And then it has these arcs that start in the middle and go out to each side to kind of fill in the gap above the low beam cutoff line. So definitely a lot more light, and it's up higher than the low beam. And the thing about those 5 distinguished circle hotspots is those are going to be your really long range down the road lights. And I think out further they're going to kind of mold together and create more of a round circle all by themselves. But in here it does look kind of funny. But it does increase the lux rating from 429 lux all the way up to 981 max lux. This LED headlight, originally marketed by Nolden and now available from several other brands, is actually a pretty decent competitor in terms of the beam pattern and the brightness. You can see on the left side of the screen, closest to the camera in the ditch, you have a really nice cutoff line for the low beam, and you even have the step in the center of the pattern in the middle of the road to shield oncoming drivers. The hot spot is also centered with a decent flood left to right, and the beam pattern extends into the ditch. The low beam isn't quite as powerful in terms of how far it reaches down the road as some other headlights, but it's obviously a good beam pattern and a decent amount of light. Now when we switch to high beam, you can still see on the left and right sides in the ditch there's a bit of a cutoff line, and that's something that's unique to the Nolden headlight. Most of the time when you go from low beam to high beam with the other headlights, you don't get anything controlled in terms of height. It just opens up the light completely and it shines as much as it can possibly shine. So that's one drawback, but on the other hand, the light going down range is incredibly bright. Now that we're approaching the end of the video, I hope you know enough about the selection of 7-inch round LED headlights in the market today to make a decision. I'm not going to rank these best to worst. I'm going to let you make up your own decisions. All I will say is these 7 in front of me are probably the only 7 that I would ever recommend to anybody for anything. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you were entertained a little bit. I hope you were really educated. And if you want to see what else we are doing with Headlight Revolution, visit our website, www.headlightrevolution.com. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next set of videos. And of course, we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.